What's going on, y'all? We back again. We got a little bit more facts to drop, okay? So today we're talking about the 4 temperaments. We're talking about neurotypes. We're talking about personality types, how that relates to fiber type, and then how that relates to training, okay? So a lot of things to unpack. So the first thing we're going over is the 4 temperaments. You probably haven't heard of that before. It goes way back to ancient Greece by a guy named Hippocrates. And so where I found out about it is in this book called Transfer of Training by Anatoly Bondarchuk. And in it, he splits up some of his athletes into different personality types and then gives them different types of training. And then he found that they responded better to certain types of training than others, right? So those first 4 personality types are, they're going to be sanguine, right? So that's your more cheerful type of person. We have the melancholic, which is your more depressive or in your feels type of person, right? Then we have the choleric, the one that's angry, always angry about something, or gets angry quickly. Then we have the phlegmatic, which is a bit more calm. So the next thing we're going over is neurotyping. So this was made famous by Christian Thibodeau. If you can look up his website, Tip Army, to get more on it. I'm just giving you a little overview and how it relates to this segment, right? So we have the 1As, 1Bs, we have 2As, 2Bs, and then we have type 3s. I'm not really going to talk about 3s, just the A's and B's. And so you've probably heard type A, type B. This is kind of similar, but goes a little bit more in depth, if that makes sense. So 1A, that's going to be your more intense type of person, right? Your need to lead, your aggressive, high competition person, okay? Whereas your 1B, they're more about speed and skill. So this is in his words, not mine, right? I didn't come up with this. So your type 1Bs, we went over 1As, now this is your type 1Bs. That's your more impatient type of person, but they're very higher motor skill. So probably the highest motor skill out of all 4 of these categories. Then we have your 2A, typically more shy, introverted at rest, but when adrenaline hits, they're a bit more of an alpha, right? They're your people person. They don't really want to make decisions, and they don't really want to lead, right? Unless that adrenaline hits, then they're taking charge, doing everything they need to do. And the last one we have here is the 2B. That's your introvert. They're a little bit more shy. They're good at reading people. They're a little bit more introverted, and I guess better at the soft skills, if you will, right? So you could almost qualify this as a more artistic type of person. All right, so now we're going to tackle all of this from the perspective a little bit more from training, right? So this is from Joel Smith. So the book he wrote is Speed Strength. Great book. Love it. Read it multiple times and will probably keep reading it. But back to the segment, right? So he splits them up kind of into 3 different types. So we have the dopamine sensitive, adrenaline sensitive, and serotonin sensitive athlete. So these are all different neurotransmitters. And then the presence of those will exhibit different personality types, which will have different training implications. So dopamine sensitive types. Those are typically your risk takers, your challenge seekers, right? A little bit more alphas, your type 2 fast twitch athletes, right? Just by nature. Then we have your adrenaline sensitive types, right? So they seek difficulty, but more in a given workout, and they're pretty personable and relational, right? Then we have your serotonin sensitive athletes. These are high anxiety, right? They crave predictability. They're extremely weak in the nervous system, right? So when we're talking about all these dopamine, adrenaline, serotonin, we're talking about nervous system strength, right? So dopamine is going to have a stronger nervous system, adrenaline medium, and then serotonin sensitive are going to be your weaker nervous system types. So how does all this relate to training? So essentially, those with a stronger nervous system type, right? Those that are a little bit more, you can say, outgoing or a little bit more aggressive, they can handle a higher load in training, whereas the lower, weaker nervous system, they're not going to be able to handle such a high load, right? They're going to have a low tolerance. So when you give them a dose, right, their dose response is going to be much different than the alphas, if you will. So when giving them training, basically, you're going to have to break up the intensity. So those that are a little bit weaker nervous system aren't going to be able to handle as much intensity or as many sets and reps. So essentially, this is just another way to help you modify training for the different athletes that you work with.
Thanks for watching. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and share. If you want to get involved more, you can go ahead and stay connected via Instagram at Juka_elite performance. If you're looking for training, go ahead and click the link in the bio on Instagram.